of the 2023 Corvette Z06. How's it going, everyone? Scott, Race Exotic. So today we are going to do a driver's review of the 2023 Z06. We drove the car for 1,000 miles, we got to know the car, and now we're going to review our experience with those first 1,000 miles. We need to address the elephant in the room. The definition of an exotic, if you look it up, is from a foreign or distant land. This is an American car, and it's arguably a supercar. A lot of people say it's not. As a matter of fact, we should probably look it up. We need to Google whether or not this is a supercar. In order to be considered a supercar, a vehicle must possess 3 of the following qualities. It's mid-engine, it's got more than 500 horsepower, it has no more than 2 seats, and it's rare, under 5,000 built. This car right here, there's roughly 1,200 built, the Z06. It's mid-engine, it's 670 horsepower, it has 2 seats, so it technically hits all 4. Now I know a lot of you Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren guys are gonna shit on that. Find me a better definition of supercar. So now that we've established that the internet says this is a supercar, and the internet's never wrong, I know there's a lot of controversy over that, but just keep a few things in mind. This is not your regular C8 Corvette. This has got flat plane crank, 5.5 liter V8, 670 natural aspirated horsepower. It's the highest horsepower of any natural aspirated V8 ever put in any production car. They've only made the 1,200 roughly. Now let's take it for a spin so you can see what it's like driving this. Now that we're in the car, we're gonna take it for a little spin. I always drive it in track mode. If you listen really carefully, it definitely gets quieter in drive, touring mode, and sport mode. A lot of people think Z mode is the same. I'm assuming it's a tune. When you put it in track mode is when it will literally shoot flames. Z mode, it will not do that. I'm assuming it's tuned dumping more fuel in track mode because it's a different car in track mode than Z mode. Pops, the exhaust pops in track mode, doesn't do that in Z mode. It is a different car. I've actually got a buddy, Papa Smurf, anybody that follows the channel, that's got a C8 Corvette. And so when I got the car, I was leaning on him for a lot of information. We did the break-in on it, hit the 500 miles, RPM limiter jumped, everything was in high performance mode, right? Well, we'd take it around the block and it felt gutless. Well, something I've learned is the car doesn't really make any power till you're like at 6,500 and up. So it's deceivingly fast in the high RPMs, but you have to keep it in the high RPMs. You can't run it at 6,000 RPMs. You can't be shifting at 6,000 or you're gonna be disappointed in this car. And therefore I'll show you. This is an amazing car. I've never been a Chevy guy. I've got like 20 old Ford pickup trucks, all old flathead stuff. So I'm a Ford guy, right? This thing is an impressive car. I gotta give it to Chevy. shifts unbelievable. This new dual clutch they've got in it, I'm very impressed. I'm normally a manual transmission guy, but they did a very good job with this thing. I would say for a performance-oriented car, it's very comfortable. Now, you can obviously get racing buckets that are high in the center and I mean really tight fitting, but for the level of performance that you get in this and the level of comfort, it's unbelievable. Fully electric seats. It's got heated steering wheel. We live in Washington. It gets cold out. I actually remote started this morning and I got out into the car and the steering wheel is hot. It's pretty neat. But the amenities of this, I mean, as you guys know, a lot of my cars are older. And I enjoy older cars, don't get me wrong. Air conditioned seats, heated seats, everything works. The heads-up display, very cool. Now we are in touring mode. We're already in third gear and we're doing 20 miles an hour. So in touring mode, it really tightens up the shift intervals to where it's not shifting at such an aggressive RPM. I mean, we're in fourth gear right now. It's shifting on its own. I just put it in drive rather than manual shift mode. I personally don't like it when it's in drive, not just because I'm a kid and need to bang the gears, but I actually don't like the way it shifts on its own. I feel like it shifts when it shouldn't be shifting. So even when I'm being lazy, I tend to want to put it in manual just so that I have control over when it is shifting. But as you can tell, it's a lot quieter. How much experience you got in them, but
on the passenger seat, not
in the
a whole lot.
driver's seat.
In the driver's seat a lot. Not in the Z06.
So you didn't need me to drive it then. I just was going to show you where to redline because it didn't feel natural for me to take it that far.
Yeah, and I'll get a chance to drive one. Yeah, man. But I'll get to take one of these out onto the Las Vegas Speedway.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did the C8 last year. Got it up to 160, and they're like, "Hey, man, cut it back, cut it back." I was like, "Dude, you're taking all the fun out of it."
Yeah,
man.
I didn't know how much experience you had. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have driven this first.
With the Z06, not a whole lot, man.
Is this Stingray the same as far as RPM and stuff?
No. So this flat plane, you reach about 2,000 higher RPM than you do on the 6.2.
Where does it make power? I guess is a better question.
It's a little different because of the odd firing order. You got a little bit more low end torque, whereas on these flat planes, it's all high end. That's the way this car should be driven.
Yeah, this thing is. I will say though,
the brakes are monster on
yeah.
this thing.
I will say I kind of wanted a supercharger. I mean, I don't know, this car can handle it. It has enough traction.
Right?
It has the planted on the road. It doesn't feel like it would be unsafe with a supercharger. I feel like I need more power.
This car can handle more power.
Totally.
That's what's crazy about this car.
Oh, totally.
You know, it'd be interesting to see what Hennessy's going to come out with. You know, when it for force induction.
Yeah. I can't believe how fast it shifts and how smooth the power is.
Instant. What do you think about that exhaust?
I love it.
Exhaust.
I was gonna put titanium on them. I was like, I don't need exhaust. Listen to this thing.
But you know, they're a different breed of car. Man.
Right. Oh, it's a completely different car.
This car is way different.
So, it will not let you rev it up in park. You have to go into drive mode and then pull the passenger and let you rev it up. Right now we are in touring mode. Come over here to change the modes and then it will show right here which mode I'm in. So you turn this and then it changes right there. Did you hear it got a little bit louder? Now we're in sport mode. Now I'm gonna go to track mode. I will say it's kind of neat watching the little G-force up here, and then up there in the heads up, the G-force will go to the side. So now we're gonna go to track mode. Okay, so now in track mode, it's the necessities, right? You don't need to know all that other nonsense. It's literally just saying, okay, here's gear you're in, mile per hour, and then these little bars that run out to the side, those are actually your RPM, so those will light up yellow, orange, red when it's time to shift. So it's kind of neat. It's got the lift. It's got a front camera. So that's kind of neat too for when you're coming into a tight spot. You don't want to hit a curb or anything. And then it's got the lift. Vehicle raising. Where's the engine at? So I will say, given that it's a Z06, it does have that special hand-built motor. It's kind of a shame you can't see it. Now, I've heard they make, like aftermarket, they make a replacement engine cover that's like plexiglass. You can see the engine in there, but it is a bummer. The reason this car is amazing is that engine, and you can't even see it. It's kind of a shame. The alternative is you buy the hard top. So the hard top, it has a top you have to remove by hand, and then you store it in the trunk. It was a hard choice, but I went hard top convertible, therefore you can't see the engine. The driver's review. I think the most important part of this car is the price tag, right? For what you're paying, it's untouchable. I don't know what car you would buy for the price of this that would even somewhat compete. And this car is less than half the price of a new 720S or a 296 GTB. It's a ton of car for the money. And GM did an amazing job building the car. Sure, it's not your typical exotic car, but you get a ton of power, you get amazing handling, the style. I think it's a beautiful car. It's not a hybrid, which I'm a big fan of. So you could argue this is kind of the last of a dying breed. I guess my opinion is buy it. If you can get the allocation for one of these, I would not hesitate. It's an amazing car. I really, like I said, it all boils down to the money you're spending. I don't know how you beat this thing. I would love to hear your guys' opinions on what touches this car for this price tag. This spec was $141. Out the door, it was like $154,000. That's not much money at all for what you're getting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next car. I'm thinking we might do the Testarossa next, or we could do the Daytona. Put in the comment sections which one of these cars we should do next. Testarossa, Daytona, Pantera, or the Noble. See you next time. So what am I saying again? I wanted to be like Papa Smurf. You want her ready to stop? You're holding the stop button. Finally.
That's pretty cool.
Figured it out.
Pretty cool.
Got the timing down. 3 of the 4. I'm gonna redo that. Superlative?
Superlative.
Superlative?
Yeah.
You better cut that shit out. What the hell is that? Well, I got the sun right in my face. RPM. It's not shifting. I'm gonna restart that. I don't like that. I feel like I'm starting to ramble about bullshit. Man, why do I keep doing this?